Catholicism is one of the largest and oldest religions in the world, with a history spanning over 2,000 years. This rich history is filled with significant events, influential figures, and profound teachings that have shaped not only the religion itself, but also the course of human history. But beyond the familiar rituals and iconic symbols, there are hidden truths and lesser-known facts about Catholicism that might surprise you. These aspects often remain in the shadows, overshadowed by the more visible and well-known elements of the faith. In this video, we'll uncover some of the most fascinating and misunderstood aspects of Catholicism that many people miss. From the origins of certain practices to the stories behind some of the most revered saints, there is much to explore and discover. For instance, did you know that the Vatican City is the smallest independent state in the world, both in terms of area and population? Despite its size, it holds immense influence and is the spiritual and administrative center of the Catholic Church. The Vatican museums house one of the most extensive and impressive art collections in the world, including works by Michelangelo, Raphael, and Leonardo da Vinci. These masterpieces are not just artistic treasures, but also hold deep religious significance. Another intriguing aspect is the role of the Pope. The Pope is not only the spiritual leader of the Catholic Church, but also a head of state. The election of a new Pope, known as the Papal Conclave, is a process steeped in tradition and secrecy. The history of the papacy is filled with fascinating stories, from the early days of St. Peter, considered the first pope, to the modern era. Each pope has left a unique mark on the Church and its followers. Catholicism is also known for its rich tradition of saints. Saints are individuals who have led lives of exceptional holiness and virtue. They are often seen as intercessors between God and the faithful, and their stories are both inspiring and miraculous. One of the most well-known saints is Saint Francis of Assisi, who is revered for his love of nature and animals. His life and teachings continue to inspire millions around the world. Another significant figure is Saint Teresa of Avila, a mystic and reformer whose writings on prayer and spirituality are considered some of the most profound in Christian literature. The Catholic Church has also played a crucial role in the development of Western civilization. From the establishment of universities to the preservation of classical knowledge during the Middle Ages, the Church has been a driving force in education and intellectual growth. The Church's influence extends to the arts, music, and architecture. Gothic cathedrals, Gregorian chants, and Renaissance paintings are just a few examples of the cultural contributions of Catholicism. Despite its long history and significant impact, Catholicism is often misunderstood. Misconceptions and myths abound, leading to a distorted view of the faith and its followers. In this video series, we aim to shed light on these misconceptions and provide a deeper understanding of Catholicism. By exploring its history, beliefs, and practices, we hope to offer a more accurate and nuanced perspective. Join us as we delve into the hidden truths of Catholicism, uncovering the rich tapestry of faith, tradition, and history that defines this ancient religion. Whether you are a devout Catholic, a curious seeker, or someone interested in world religions, there is something here for everyone. So, sit back, relax, and prepare to embark on a journey through the fascinating world of Catholicism. There is much to learn and discover, and we are excited to share it with you. Let's begin this exploration together, uncovering the hidden truths and lesser-known facts that make Catholicism one of the most intriguing and enduring religions in the world. One truth about Catholicism is its deep historical complexity. Catholicism wasn't always the unified institution we see today. In the early days, Christianity was a diverse and often fragmented movement. Different communities had their own interpretations of Jesus' teachings and practices. This diversity is evident in the various early Christian symbols and art found in places like the Roman catacombs. The first major effort to unify these diverse beliefs came with the Council of Nicaea in 325 AD. This council, convened by Emperor Constantine, aimed to address the theological disputes that were causing divisions within the early Christian communities. The debates were intense, and the decisions made at Nicaea would shape the future of Christianity. The early church leaders produced a wealth of writings that reflect the theological diversity of the time. These texts, many of which have survived to this day, provide a window into the complex and often contentious process of defining Christian doctrine. As Christianity spread throughout the Roman Empire and beyond, it encountered a variety of cultures and traditions. Missionaries adapted their message to resonate with different peoples, leading to further diversity in practice and belief. This period of expansion was crucial in shaping the global nature of the Catholic Church. The medieval period saw the Catholic Church become a dominant force in Europe. Gothic cathedrals, monastic communities, and the establishment of universities all contributed to the Church's influence. However, this era was also marked by internal conflicts and reforms, as different groups within the Church sought to address issues of corruption and doctrinal purity. The Reformation in the 16th century was a major turning point in the history of the Catholic Church. Figures like Martin Luther challenged the authority of the Pope and the practices of the Church, leading to the formation of Protestant denominations. This schism had profound effects on the religious, political, and cultural landscape of Europe. In response to the Reformation, the Catholic Church initiated the Counter-Reformation, a period of significant internal reform. The Council of Trent, 1545 to 1563, addressed many of the issues raised by the Reformers and reaffirmed key Catholic doctrines. This era also saw the flourishing of Baroque art and architecture, which aimed to inspire faith and devotion. The Enlightenment and the scientific revolution posed new challenges to the Catholic Church. The rise of secularism and the questioning of traditional authority led to tensions between the Church and the state. Despite these challenges, the Church continued to play a significant role in the intellectual and cultural life of Europe. The 20th century brought further changes with the Second Vatican Council, 1962 to 1965, which sought to modernize the Church and engage with the contemporary world. Vatican II introduced reforms in liturgy, ecumenism, and the role of the laity, reflecting the Church's ongoing efforts to adapt to a changing world. Today, the Catholic Church is a global institution with a presence in nearly every country. It encompasses a wide range of cultural traditions and practices, reflecting its diverse history. Modern Catholic leaders continue to navigate the challenges and opportunities of a rapidly changing world, drawing on the rich heritage of the Church's past. One truth about Catholicism is its deep historical complexity. Catholicism wasn't always the unified institution we see today. In the early days, there were many debates, councils, and conflicts about doctrine and beliefs. These early debates and councils were crucial in shaping the foundation of what we now know as Catholicism. The first few centuries of Christianity were marked by intense theological discussions and disagreements. These debates often centered around the nature of Christ, the Trinity, and the correct interpretation of the Scriptures. One of the most significant early councils was the Council of Nicaea in 325 AD. This council was convened by Emperor Constantine and aimed to address the Arian controversy, which questioned the divinity of Jesus Christ. Emperor Constantine played a pivotal role in the early Church. His conversion to Christianity and subsequent support for the religion helped to legitimize and spread the faith throughout the Roman Empire. The Council of Nicaea brought together bishops from across the Christian world to debate and decide on key theological issues. The outcome of this council was the Nicene Creed, a statement of faith that affirmed the divinity of Jesus and the concept of the Trinity. The Nicene Creed became a cornerstone of Christian doctrine and is still recited in many Christian denominations today. It was a significant step in unifying the beliefs of the early Church and establishing a common theological framework. Another important council was the Council of Chalcedon in 451 AD. This council addressed the nature of Christ and affirmed that Jesus was both fully divine and fully human. The decisions made at these early councils were not without controversy. There were many who disagreed with the outcomes, leading to schisms and the formation of different sects within Christianity. These early debates and councils were essential in shaping the development of Christian doctrine and practice. They helped to define the core beliefs of the faith and establish a unified church. The early church fathers, such as Augustine, Athanasius, and Jerome, played a significant role in these debates. Their writings and teachings helped to articulate and defend the emerging Christian doctrines. Augustine, in particular, was a towering figure in early Christian theology. His works, such as Confessions and The City of God, have had a lasting impact on Christian thought and continue to be studied and revered today. Athanasius was a staunch defender of the Nicene Creed and played a key role in the fight against Arianism. His efforts were instrumental in shaping the Orthodox Christian belief in the divinity of Christ. Jerome is best known for his translation of the Bible into Latin, known as the Vulgate. This translation became the standard Bible for the Western Christian Church for many centuries. The early Christian communities were diverse and spread across different regions. These communities often had their own unique practices and interpretations of the faith, which sometimes led to conflicts and the need for councils to resolve differences. The early Christians also faced persecution from both the Roman authorities and other religious groups. Despite these challenges, the faith continued to grow and spread, thanks in part to the efforts of the early church leaders and the decisions made at the councils. Symbols such as the cross, the fish, and the chi-rho became important identifiers for early Christians. These symbols helped to unify believers and provide a sense of shared identity and purpose. Worship practices in the early church were diverse and varied by region. However, certain elements, such as the celebration of the Eucharist and the reading of scriptures, were common across different communities. Music also played a significant role in early Christian worship. Hymns and chants were used to praise God and reinforce the teachings of the faith. The architecture of early Christian churches reflected the growing importance and influence of the faith. These buildings were often designed to inspire awe and reverence, with intricate decorations and symbolic elements. Art was another important aspect of early Christian expression. Religious icons, paintings, and mosaics were used to depict biblical scenes and saints, helping to educate and inspire the faithful. Education was highly valued in the early church. Theological schools and centers of learning were established to train clergy and lay people in the teachings of the faith. Missionary work was also a key component of early Christianity. Missionaries traveled far and wide to spread the message of the gospel and convert new believers. Relics of saints and martyrs became important objects of veneration in the early church. These relics were believed to have miraculous powers and were often housed in churches and shrines. Pilgrimages to holy sites and the tombs of saints were common practices among early Christians. These journeys were seen as acts of devotion and a way to seek spiritual blessings. Festivals and religious celebrations were important aspects of early Christian life. These events provided opportunities for communal worship, fellowship, and the reinforcement of shared beliefs. The writings of early Christian theologians and church leaders have had a lasting impact on the development of Christian doctrine. These texts continue to be studied and revered by scholars and believers alike. Despite the many debates and conflicts, the early church ultimately sought to maintain unity and a common faith. The decisions made at the early councils were instrumental in achieving this goal and laying the foundation for the future of Christianity. The term Catholic, meaning universal, was only widely used after the first few centuries of Christianity to define unity in teachings. But what does this term really signify? And how did it come to be so integral to the identity of the Church? Let's delve deeper into the origins and evolution of the term Catholic and its profound implications. The word Catholic is derived from the Greek word Catholicos, which means universal or according to the whole. This term was first used to describe the Church in the early 2nd century by Saint Ignatius of Antioch. In his letter to the Smyrnaeans, he wrote, "Wherever the bishop appears, there let the people be, as wherever Jesus Christ is, there is the Catholic Church." Saint Ignatius's use of the term Catholic was significant because it emphasized the universality of the Church. It was a way to distinguish the true Church, which adhered to the teachings of the apostles, from various heretical groups that were emerging at the time. The term underscored the idea that the Church was not confined to a particular region or group of people, but was meant for all humanity. During the first few centuries of Christianity, the Church faced numerous challenges, including persecution, doctrinal disputes, and the rise of heresies. The term Catholic became a rallying point for believers who sought to maintain the integrity and unity of the faith. It was a declaration that the Church was one, holy, Catholic, and apostolic, as professed in the Nicene Creed. The early ecumenical councils played a crucial role in defining and defending the Catholic faith. The Council of Nicaea in 325 AD, for example, was convened to address the Arian heresy, which denied the divinity of Christ. The Council affirmed the doctrine of the Trinity and produced the Nicene Creed, which remains a cornerstone of Catholic belief to this day. The Church Fathers were instrumental in articulating and defending the Catholic faith. Figures like Augustine, Jerome, and Athanasius wrote extensively on theological matters, providing a rich intellectual foundation for the Church. Their writings helped to clarify and codify the teachings of the Church, ensuring that the faith remained consistent and true to the apostolic tradition. The term Catholic also reflects the sacramental and liturgical life of the Church. From the earliest days, Christians gathered to celebrate the Eucharist, which they believed was the true body and blood of Christ. The sacraments were seen as means of grace, essential for the spiritual life of believers. The liturgy, with its rich symbolism and rituals, expressed the universality and continuity of the Church's worship. Today, the Catholic Church is a global community, with over 1 billion members from diverse cultures and backgrounds. The term Catholic continues to signify the universality of the Church, which transcends national and cultural boundaries. It is a reminder that the Church is called to be a sign of unity and a witness to the love of Christ in the world. The Catholic Church's commitment to social justice and charitable works is another expression of its universal mission. From hospitals and schools to orphanages and relief efforts, the Church has a long history of serving those in need. This commitment is rooted in the belief that all people are made in the image of God and deserve dignity and respect. Modern Church leaders, including Pope Francis, continue to emphasize the importance of the Church's universal mission. Pope Francis has called for a Church that is open and inclusive, reaching out to the marginalized and the poor. His papacy has been marked by a focus on mercy, compassion, and social justice, reflecting the core values of the Catholic faith. The Catholic Church also engages in dialogue with other Christian denominations and world religions. These efforts aim to promote understanding, reconciliation, and unity among all people. The Church's commitment to ecumenism and interfaith dialogue is a testament to its belief in the universal call to love and serve one another. The Catholic intellectual tradition, with its emphasis on faith and reason, has made significant contributions to philosophy, theology, science, and the arts. Catholic universities and schools around the world continue to educate and inspire new generations, fostering a spirit of inquiry and a commitment to truth. Catholic art and architecture also reflect the universality of the Church. From the grandeur of cathedrals to the simplicity of rural chapels, the beauty of Catholic sacred spaces speaks to the transcendent and the divine. These spaces are places of worship, reflection, and community, inviting all to encounter the mystery of God. Pilgrimages to holy sites, such as Rome, Jerusalem, and Lourdes, are another expression of the Catholic faith's universality. These journeys of faith bring together believers from around the world, fostering a sense of solidarity and shared devotion. Pilgrimages are a reminder of the Church's ancient roots and its ongoing journey towards the fullness of God's kingdom. Catholic celebrations and festivals, such as Christmas, Easter, and Pentecost, are moments of joy and communal worship. These events highlight the central mysteries of the faith and bring together the faithful in a spirit of celebration and thanksgiving. They are a testament to the living and dynamic nature of the Catholic tradition. In conclusion, the term Catholic is more than just a label. It is a profound expression of the Church's identity and mission. It signifies the universality of the faith, the unity of believers, and the call to be a light to the nations. As we continue to journey together as the Catholic Church, let us embrace this universal mission with faith, hope, and love. This history of councils, such as the Council of Nicaea, helped shape the core beliefs of Catholicism. Understanding this diversity is crucial for anyone who wants to appreciate how Catholicism evolved into the faith practiced by billions today. The Council of Nicaea, convened in 325 AD by Emperor Constantine, was a pivotal moment in the history of Christianity. It was the first ecumenical council, bringing together bishops from across the Christian world to address critical theological disputes. The council took place in the city of Nicaea, located in what is now modern-day Turkey. This location was strategically chosen due to its accessibility for bishops traveling from various parts of the empire. Emperor Constantine played a crucial role in the council. As the first Roman emperor to convert to Christianity, he sought to unify the Church and solidify its doctrines, which were being hotly debated at the time. Leading up to the Council of Nicaea, the early Christian Church faced numerous challenges, including persecution, doctrinal disagreements, and the need for a unified creed. The Council aimed to address these issues and establish a cohesive theological foundation. One of the primary issues addressed at the Council was the nature of Christ. The debate centered around Arianism, a belief that Jesus Christ was created by God and therefore not co-eternal with the Father. This view was opposed by those who believed in the consubstantiality of the Son with the Father. Arius, a priest from Alexandria, was the main proponent of Arianism. His teachings had gained a significant following, leading to widespread controversy and division within the Church. Opposing Arius was Athanasius, a deacon who later became the Bishop of Alexandria. Athanasius was a staunch defender of the belief that Jesus Christ was of the same substance as God the Father, a doctrine that would eventually be affirmed by the Council. The outcome of the Council was the formulation of the Nicene Creed, a statement of faith that articulated the Church's beliefs about the nature of Christ and the Holy Trinity. The Creed declared that Jesus Christ is begotten, not made, being of one substance with the Father. The Nicene Creed became a foundational document for Christian theology, serving as a unifying statement of faith for the Church. It was later expanded at the Council of Constantinople in 381 AD to further clarify the doctrine of the Trinity. The decisions made at the Council of Nicaea had a profound and lasting impact on the development of Christian doctrine. By establishing a unified creed, the Council helped to solidify the theological foundation of the Church and promote unity among its followers. Today, the Nicene Creed is recited in many Christian denominations during worship services, reflecting its enduring significance in the faith. It serves as a reminder of the historical efforts to define and preserve the core beliefs of Christianity. The Council of Nicaea set a precedent for future ecumenical councils, which continued to address theological and doctrinal issues within the Church. These councils played a crucial role in shaping the development of Christian theology over the centuries. The decisions made at Nicaea also contributed to the spread of Christianity throughout the Roman Empire and beyond. By establishing a clear and unified doctrine, the Church was better able to evangelize and convert new followers. Early Christian communities benefited from the Council's decisions, as they provided a clear framework for understanding and practicing their faith. This helped to foster a sense of unity and identity among believers. Theological debates continued to arise in the centuries following the Council of Nicaea, but the foundation laid by the Council provided a basis for resolving these disputes. The Nicene Creed remained a central reference point for theological discussions. Today, scholars and theologians continue to study the Council of Nicaea and its impact on Christian theology. The Council's decisions are seen as a critical moment in the history of the Church, shaping its beliefs and practices for generations to come. Modern ecumenical councils continue the tradition established at Nicaea, bringing together church leaders to discuss and address contemporary issues facing the faith. These councils build on the legacy of Nicaea, striving to maintain unity and doctrinal integrity within the Church. The diversity of the Christian faith today can be traced back to the efforts of the early councils, including Nicaea. By addressing theological disputes and establishing a unified creed, these councils helped to shape a faith that could be embraced by people from all walks of life. The legacy of the Council of Nicaea is evident in the rich traditions and practices of the Christian faith. From the recitation of the Nicene Creed to the celebration of key doctrines, the Council's impact continues to be felt in churches around the world. As we reflect on the history of the Council of Nicaea, we gain a deeper appreciation for the efforts of early church leaders to define and preserve the core beliefs of Christianity. Their work laid the foundation for a faith that has endured for centuries and continues to inspire billions of people today. Understanding the history and significance of the Council of Nicaea is crucial for anyone who wants to appreciate the evolution of Catholicism and its impact on the world. The Council's decisions help to shape a faith that is practiced by billions of people today, reflecting a rich and diverse heritage that continues to thrive. Another hidden truth lies in the Catholic tradition of saints and relics. Many people know that Catholics venerate saints, but fewer know that relics, objects associated with saints, such as bones or personal items, play a significant role in Catholic history. The veneration of saints and their relics dates back to the early days of Christianity. Early Christians would gather in secret to honor the martyrs who had died for their faith. These martyrs were often buried in catacombs, and their graves became sites of pilgrimage. Over time, the practice of venerating saints and their relics evolved and spread throughout the Christian world. During the Middle Ages, relics were often transported across great distances and housed in elaborate reliquaries. These reliquaries were often made of gold and adorned with precious stones, reflecting the reverence held for the saints. The creation of these reliquaries was a highly skilled craft, often involving the best artisans of the time. Today, many of these ancient reliquaries are preserved and restored by modern-day artisans. Relics continue to play a significant role in Catholic ceremonies and rituals. They are often used in processions, where they are carried through the streets and venerated by the faithful. These processions can draw large crowds, with people coming from far and wide to participate. Relics are also placed on altars during Mass, where they are believed to bring blessings to the congregation. Throughout history, many miracles have been attributed to the presence of relics. These miracles range from physical healings to spiritual conversions, and they continue to inspire the faithful today. Scholars have studied relics extensively, seeking to understand their significance and the reasons behind their veneration. These studies have revealed a deep and complex history, intertwined with the development of the Catholic Church itself. Saints and their relics have also played a significant role in Catholic art and culture. They are often depicted in paintings, sculptures, and other forms of art, serving as symbols of faith and devotion. Many relics are now housed in museums, where they can be viewed and studied by the public. These museums provide valuable information about the history and significance of relics, helping to educate and inspire visitors. Education about saints and relics is also an important part of Catholic schooling, ensuring that future generations understand their importance. Textbooks and classroom discussions often include detailed information about the lives of saints and the role of relics in Catholic history. Families also play a role in passing down knowledge about saints and relics, often visiting relic sites together. These visits can be a powerful way for children to connect with their faith and understand the importance of saints and relics. Festivals and celebrations dedicated to saints are another way that Catholics honor and remember these important figures. These events often involve decorating statues of saints, participating in processions, and engaging in various religious activities. Saint festivals have a long history and are celebrated in many different countries, each with its own unique traditions. Traditional foods are often prepared for these festivals, and sharing meals is a common way to celebrate and build community. These festivals bring Catholic communities together, fostering a sense of unity and shared faith. Relics often play a central role in these festivals, with people coming to venerate them and seek blessings. The experiences of these festivals are often recorded and shared, preserving the traditions for future generations. Historians have documented these festivals extensively, providing valuable insights into their origins and significance. Museums and historical sites often feature exhibits on saint festivals, offering visitors a chance to learn more about these important events. Lectures and educational programs about saints and relics are also common, helping to spread knowledge and understanding. Scholars continue to study relics, seeking to uncover new insights and deepen our understanding of their role in Catholicism. The veneration of saints and relics remains a vital part of Catholic practice, connecting the faithful with their spiritual heritage. Whether in grand ceremonies or personal moments of prayer, relics continue to inspire and uplift the Catholic faithful. They serve as tangible reminders of the saints' lives and their enduring impact on the world. Through art, history, and personal devotion, the legacy of saints and their relics continues to thrive in the Catholic Church. The mystery of saints and relics is a profound and enduring aspect of Catholicism, offering a deep connection to the divine. As we continue to explore and understand this tradition, we uncover the rich tapestry of faith that has shaped the Catholic Church for centuries. These relics are not worshipped, but are revered as a way to feel connected to those who lived extraordinary lives of faith. The tradition of venerating relics dates back to the early Christian Church. Relics are often associated with saints and martyrs, individuals who have demonstrated exceptional piety and devotion to their faith. These items can include physical remains, such as bones or hair, or objects that were in close contact with the saint, like clothing or personal belongings. In the early days of Christianity, the faithful would gather at the burial sites of martyrs to celebrate the Eucharist. These gatherings were not just acts of remembrance, but also a way to seek the intercession of these holy individuals. The belief was that the saints, being close to God, could intercede on behalf of the living. As Christianity spread, the veneration of relics became more formalized. During the medieval period, churches and cathedrals were often built to house these sacred items. Pilgrims would travel great distances to visit these relics, seeking blessings, healing, and spiritual solace. Reliquaries, the containers that hold relics, are often works of art in themselves. Crafted from precious metals and adorned with jewels, these reliquaries reflect the reverence and honor given to the relics they contain. The beauty and craftsmanship of these containers also serve to inspire the faithful and draw them closer to the divine. Even today, the veneration of relics continues to be an important aspect of Catholic spirituality. Pilgrims still visit sites where relics are housed, participating in rituals and prayers that have been passed down through generations. These practices provide a tangible connection to the history and traditions of the Church. The Vatican, as the heart of the Catholic Church, holds some of the most significant relics in Christendom. St. Peter's Basilica, for example, is believed to be built over the tomb of St. Peter, one of Jesus' apostles and the first pope. The presence of such relics underscores the continuity and depth of the Catholic faith. Scholars and theologians continue to study relics, not only for their historical and religious significance, but also for what they reveal about the early Church and its practices. These studies help to deepen our understanding of the faith and its development over the centuries. Each relic comes with its own story, often documented in detail. These stories provide insights into the lives of the saints and the impact they had on their communities. By learning about these stories, the faithful can find inspiration and guidance in their own spiritual journeys. Education about relics is also an important aspect of their veneration. Priests and religious educators often take the time to explain the significance of these items to parishioners, helping them to appreciate the deeper meanings and connections to their faith. Processions involving relics are another way in which these sacred items are honored. These events often draw large crowds, with participants seeking to express their devotion and to receive blessings. The communal aspect of these processions reinforces the sense of unity and shared faith among the participants. Special masses and liturgies are sometimes held in honor of specific relics. During these services, the relics are placed on the altar, and the faithful are invited to venerate them. These occasions are marked by a deep sense of reverence and solemnity, as the community comes together to honor the memory of the saints. The act of touching or kissing a relic is a common practice among the faithful. This physical contact is seen as a way to draw closer to the saint and to seek their intercession. For many, this act is a profound expression of faith and devotion. Museums and exhibitions also play a role in the veneration of relics. These institutions often display relics along with detailed information about their origins and significance. Such exhibits provide an educational experience, allowing visitors to learn about the history and importance of these sacred items. Historical documents often accompany relics, providing context and authenticity. These documents can include letters, certificates, and other records that trace the relic's journey through history. This documentation helps to establish the relic's provenance and its significance within the Church. In modern times, the Church has established rigorous processes for verifying the authenticity of relics. Certificates of authenticity are issued to ensure that the relics are genuine and to prevent the spread of forgeries. This process helps to maintain the integrity and reverence associated with these sacred items. The preservation of relics is also a critical concern. Conservators work diligently to protect these items from damage and deterioration. Their efforts ensure that relics can continue to be venerated by future generations, preserving this important aspect of Catholic heritage. Ultimately, the veneration of relics is about more than just the physical objects. It is about the connection to the divine and the inspiration drawn from the lives of the saints. Through these relics, the faithful find a tangible link to their spiritual heritage and a source of strength and guidance in their own lives. The presence of relics in churches and homes serves as a constant reminder of the faith and devotion of those who came before us. The light of a candle burning beside a relic symbolizes the enduring flame of faith that continues to burn in the hearts of the faithful. Prayer cards and other devotional items often accompany relics, providing additional ways for the faithful to engage with these sacred objects. These items serve as tools for prayer and reflection, helping individuals to deepen their spiritual connection. The Rosary, a powerful symbol of Catholic devotion, is often used in conjunction with relics. Praying the Rosary while venerating a relic can enhance the spiritual experience, drawing the faithful closer to the divine through the intercession of the saints. The Bible, as the sacred text of Christianity, often accompanies relics in displays and veneration practices. The words of Scripture, combined with the presence of relics, provide a powerful reminder of the faith and teachings that have been passed down through the ages. Educating the younger generation about the significance of relics is crucial for the continuation of this tradition. By teaching children about the lives of the saints and the importance of relics, the Church ensures that this aspect of faith will be carried forward into the future. Hymns and songs of praise often accompany the veneration of relics. Music has the power to elevate the spirit and to create a sense of communal worship. Singing hymns in the presence of relics can be a deeply moving experience, fostering a sense of unity and devotion among the faithful. Sharing personal experiences and testimonies about the impact of relics can also be a powerful way to build community and to inspire others. These stories of faith and devotion highlight the ongoing relevance and significance of relics in the lives of the faithful. Silent prayer and meditation in the presence of relics provide an opportunity for deep reflection and spiritual connection. This quiet time allows individuals to contemplate the lives of the saints and to seek their intercession in a personal and meaningful way. Receiving blessings in the presence of relics is a cherished practice for many Catholics. These blessings are seen as a way to receive divine grace and to strengthen one's faith. The presence of relics adds a special significance to these moments, enhancing the spiritual experience. Feast days dedicated to specific saints often involve the veneration of their relics. These celebrations are marked by joy and reverence as the faithful come together to honor the memory of the saints and to seek their intercession. The presence of relics adds a tangible connection to these holy individuals, enriching the celebration. Pilgrimages to sites where relics are housed are a time-honored tradition in the Catholic Church. These journeys of faith provide an opportunity for spiritual growth and renewal. The act of traveling to venerate relics is a powerful expression of devotion and commitment to the faith. Reflecting on the experience of a pilgrimage can deepen one's understanding and appreciation of the faith. The memories and insights gained from these journeys can have a lasting impact, inspiring continued devotion and a deeper connection to the spiritual heritage of the Church. Giving thanks for the blessings received through the intercession of the saints is an important aspect of the veneration of relics. This gratitude is expressed through prayers, offerings, and acts of charity, reinforcing the sense of community and shared faith. Preparing for future pilgrimages and veneration practices ensures that the tradition of honoring relics will continue. By planning and participating in these activities, the faithful keep the spirit of devotion alive and pass it on to future generations. In conclusion, the role of relics in the Catholic Church is multifaceted and deeply rooted in tradition. These sacred items serve as a bridge between the faithful and the divine, providing inspiration, guidance, and a tangible connection to the saints. Through the veneration of relics, Catholics find a profound expression of their faith and a source of spiritual strength. The enduring presence of relics in the Church is a testament to the lasting impact of the saints and their continued influence on the lives of the faithful. As symbols of faith and devotion, relics will continue to inspire and guide Catholics for generations to come. Relics were especially important during the Middle Ages, when they were believed to have healing powers or other miraculous qualities. They became a major part of pilgrimage traditions and are still honored in many Catholic churches worldwide. The veneration of relics can be traced back to the early Christian Church, but it was during the Middle Ages that their significance truly flourished. Relics, which are physical remains of saints or objects associated with them, were thought to possess divine power. This belief was deeply rooted in the medieval mindset, where the sacred and the mundane were often intertwined. Pilgrimage was a central aspect of medieval religious life, and relics played a crucial role in this practice. Pilgrims would travel great distances, often enduring significant hardships, to visit sites where relics were housed. These journeys were not only acts of devotion, but also opportunities for spiritual renewal and penance. Churches and cathedrals that possessed important relics became major pilgrimage destinations. The presence of a revered relic could elevate the status of a church, attracting pilgrims and, consequently, wealth and prestige. This led to a proliferation of relics and reliquaries, with some churches even competing to acquire the most significant or numerous relics. The creation of reliquaries, the containers that housed relics, became an art form in itself. These objects were often crafted from precious materials such as gold, silver, and gemstones, and were designed to reflect the sacred nature of their contents. The beauty and craftsmanship of reliquaries were intended to inspire awe and reverence among the faithful. However, the high demand for relics also led to less scrupulous practices. The trade in relics became a lucrative business, and not all relics were genuine. Some were fabricated or misrepresented, leading to a market flooded with dubious artifacts. This issue was so widespread that the Church had to establish regulations to curb the sale of fake relics. Church authorities took the authenticity of relics very seriously. Councils and synods were convened to address the issue, and strict criteria were established for verifying the legitimacy of relics. Despite these efforts, the veneration of relics remained a complex and sometimes controversial aspect of medieval religious life. Today, relics continue to hold a place of honor in many Catholic churches around the world. While the fervor of the Middle Ages has waned, the tradition of venerating relics persists. Modern believers may view relics more as symbols of faith and continuity with the past, rather than objects of miraculous power. In contemporary practice, relics are often displayed in reliquaries that are accessible to the public, allowing the faithful to engage in personal acts of devotion. These moments of connection with the sacred can be deeply meaningful, providing a tangible link to the history and heritage of the Church. Some of the most famous relics are housed in prominent locations such as the Vatican. St. Peter's Basilica, for example, contains numerous relics, including those of St. Peter himself. These relics attract millions of visitors each year, continuing the tradition of pilgrimage that has been a part of Catholicism for centuries. The study of relics is also an important field of academic research. Historians, archaeologists, and theologians examine relics to gain insights into the religious practices, cultural contexts, and historical significance of these objects. This scholarly work helps to deepen our understanding of the role relics have played in shaping the Catholic tradition. The veneration of relics during the Middle Ages was not just a matter of personal piety, but also a communal activity. Relics were often incorporated into liturgical celebrations and public processions, reinforcing their importance within the broader religious and social fabric of the time. Artistic depictions of relics and saints were common in medieval art. Manuscripts, paintings, and sculptures often featured relics, highlighting their significance and the reverence with which they were regarded. These artistic works served to educate and inspire the faithful, making the stories of saints and their relics accessible to a wider audience. Education about relics continues in modern Catholic institutions. Schools and religious education programs teach students about the history and significance of relics, ensuring that this aspect of the faith is passed down to future generations. This educational effort helps to maintain a connection to the rich heritage of the Church. The practice of pilgrimage, though evolved, remains alive today. Modern pilgrims visit shrines and churches that house relics, seeking spiritual solace, healing, and a deeper connection to their faith. These journeys, much like those in the Middle Ages, are acts of devotion that reflect the enduring power of relics in the Catholic tradition. In conclusion, the veneration of relics during the Middle Ages was a multifaceted phenomenon that encompassed art, commerce, devotion, and controversy. While the context and intensity of relic veneration have changed over the centuries, the underlying reverence for these sacred objects remains a significant aspect of Catholicism. Relics continue to inspire faith, connect believers to their spiritual heritage, and serve as tangible reminders of the divine in the everyday world. One lesser-known truth is the vast impact of Catholicism on global culture, art, and science. Catholicism has contributed immensely to Western art and education. The Vatican City, the heart of the Catholic Church, is not just a religious center, but also a treasure trove of art and history. The Vatican museums house some of the most significant artworks in the world, including masterpieces by Raphael, Leonardo da Vinci, and Caravaggio. These works have not only religious significance, but also represent pivotal moments in the history of art. Education has always been a cornerstone of Catholicism. The Church established some of the earliest universities in Europe, such as the University of Bologna and the University of Paris. These institutions became centers of learning and intellectual development, producing scholars who made groundbreaking contributions to various fields, including philosophy, theology, and the natural sciences. Catholic scholars have played crucial roles in the advancement of science. Nicholas Copernicus, a Catholic cleric, formulated the heliocentric model of the solar system, revolutionizing our understanding of the cosmos. Gregor Mendel, an Augustinian friar, is considered the father of modern genetics. His experiments with pea plants laid the foundation for the science of heredity. Beyond art and science, the Catholic Church has had a profound impact on social justice and humanitarian efforts. Catholic charities and organizations operate globally, providing aid to the poor, education to the underprivileged, and healthcare to those in need. These efforts reflect the Church's commitment to the teachings of Jesus Christ, emphasizing compassion, charity, and service to others. The cultural influence of Catholicism is also evident in its rich traditions and rituals. Celebrations like Easter and Christmas have transcended religious boundaries and become integral parts of global culture. These events are marked by elaborate ceremonies, music, and art, showcasing the Church's ability to bring people together in shared experiences of faith and community. Catholic missionaries have traveled to the farthest corners of the globe, spreading the faith and establishing schools, hospitals, and churches. Their work has had a lasting impact on the cultures and societies they encountered, often blending Catholic traditions with local customs to create unique expressions of faith. In the modern era, the Catholic Church continues to play a significant role in promoting interfaith dialogue and understanding. The Second Vatican Council, held in the 1960s, marked a turning point in the Church's approach to other religions, emphasizing respect, cooperation, and mutual understanding. This spirit of dialogue has led to numerous initiatives aimed at fostering peace and reconciliation among different faith communities. The influence of the Catholic Church is also evident in its global leadership. The Pope, as the spiritual leader of over 1 billion Catholics worldwide, has a unique platform to address global issues. Pope Francis, in particular, has been a vocal advocate for social justice, environmental stewardship, and the rights of marginalized communities. His messages resonate far beyond the Catholic community, inspiring people of all faiths and backgrounds to work towards a more just and compassionate world. The architectural legacy of the Catholic Church is another testament to its global influence. From the grandeur of Gothic cathedrals to the simplicity of modern churches, Catholic architecture reflects a diverse range of styles and cultural influences. These structures are not only places of worship, but also symbols of the Church's enduring presence and its ability to adapt to different cultural contexts. The social teachings of the Catholic Church continue to inspire action and advocacy around the world. Principles such as the dignity of the human person, the common good, and the preferential option for the poor guide the Church's efforts in addressing contemporary social issues. Through community programs, educational initiatives, and advocacy work, the Church strives to create a more just and equitable society. Finally, the contributions of Catholicism to global culture cannot be overstated. Catholic art, music, and literature have enriched the cultural heritage of humanity. From the timeless beauty of Gregorian chants to the literary works of Catholic authors like Dante and Flannery O'Connor, the Church's cultural legacy continues to inspire and uplift people around the world. In conclusion, the Catholic Church's influence on global culture, art, science, and social justice is vast and multifaceted. Its contributions have shaped the course of history and continue to impact our world in profound ways. Understanding this influence helps us appreciate the rich tapestry of human civilization and the enduring legacy of Catholicism. This concludes our exploration of the Catholic Church's global influence. Thank you for joining us on this journey through history and culture. Catholicism has contributed immensely to Western art and education. Many universities, hospitals, and scientific discoveries were initiated by Catholic clergy or under the patronage of the Church, who believed that understanding nature was a way to honor creation. The Renaissance period, often hailed as the Golden Age of art, was significantly influenced by Catholicism. Artists like Michelangelo, Leonardo da Vinci, and Raphael were commissioned by the Church to create some of their most famous works. The Sistine Chapel ceiling, painted by Michelangelo, is a prime example of how Catholic themes and biblical stories were brought to life through art. Gothic cathedrals, with their towering spires and intricate stained glass windows, are another testament to the Church's influence on art. These cathedrals were not just places of worship, but also served as visual sermons, telling biblical stories through their architecture and art. Illuminated manuscripts, painstakingly created by monks, combined religious texts with beautiful illustrations, making the Word of God accessible and engaging. Music, too, was deeply intertwined with Catholicism. Gregorian chants, named after Pope Gregory I, became the standard for liturgical music in the Church. These chants, characterized by their monophonic and unaccompanied vocal style, were designed to enhance the spiritual experience of the faithful. The Church also played a crucial role in the development of musical notation, which allowed for the preservation and dissemination of music across Europe. The Baroque period saw a continuation of the Church's patronage of the arts. Baroque architecture, with its grandeur and dramatic use of light and shadow, was often employed in the construction of churches and cathedrals. Artists like Bernini and Caravaggio were commissioned to create works that evoked emotional responses and conveyed the power and glory of the Church. Bernini's sculptures, such as the Ecstasy of St. Teresa, and Caravaggio's paintings, with their intense realism and dramatic lighting, are enduring legacies of this period. Education has always been a cornerstone of Catholicism. The Church established some of the earliest universities in Europe, such as the University of Bologna and the University of Paris. These institutions became centers of learning and scholarship, attracting students from all over the continent. Catholic schools, both historical and modern, continue to emphasize the importance of education, instilling values of critical thinking, ethics, and a deep appreciation for knowledge. The Church's contributions to healthcare are equally significant. Many of the first hospitals were founded by religious orders, providing care for the sick and needy. The Church's emphasis on compassion and service to others inspired countless individuals to pursue careers in medicine and nursing. Even today, Catholic hospitals and healthcare institutions play a vital role in providing medical care and advancing research. Scientific discoveries have also been influenced by Catholicism. The Church's belief in the compatibility of faith and reason led to significant advancements in various fields of science. For instance, Gregor Mendel, an Augustinian friar, is known as the father of modern genetics for his groundbreaking work with pea plants. Galileo Galilei, although famously conflicted with the Church, was supported by many within the Church who recognized the importance of his astronomical discoveries. Beyond art, education, and science, Catholicism has also made a profound impact on social services. Catholic charities and organizations have been at the forefront of efforts to alleviate poverty, provide disaster relief, and support marginalized communities. The Church's teachings on social justice and the dignity of every human being have inspired countless acts of kindness and service around the world. In conclusion, the influence of Catholicism on Western art, education, and society is vast and enduring. From the breathtaking art and architecture that adorns our cities to the educational institutions that continue to shape minds, the Church's contributions are woven into the very fabric of our culture. As we reflect on these hidden truths, we gain a deeper appreciation for the ways in which Catholicism has shaped our world and continues to inspire us today. The Catholic Church also played a crucial role in preserving knowledge through monasteries during the Dark Ages, where monks meticulously copied ancient manuscripts by hand, ensuring that classical knowledge was not lost. These monasteries became the centers of learning and scholarship. Monks dedicated their lives to the painstaking process of transcription, often working in dimly lit scriptoriums for hours on end. The manuscripts they produced were not just copies. They were works of art, adorned with intricate illuminations and detailed marginalia. The preservation of these texts was not merely an act of copying, but also an act of interpretation and teaching. Monks would study the texts they copied, discuss their meanings, and pass on this knowledge to novices. This tradition of learning and teaching helped to keep the flame of classical knowledge alive during a time when much of Europe was in turmoil. The libraries within these monasteries were treasure troves of knowledge. Monks catalogued and bound books, creating organized collections that could be referenced by future generations. These libraries were among the few places where one could find comprehensive collections of classical works, including texts on philosophy, science, and literature. The exchange of manuscripts between monasteries was another vital aspect of knowledge preservation. Monks would travel great distances to share and acquire texts, ensuring that important works were not confined to a single location. This network of knowledge exchange helped to disseminate classical learning across Europe. Translation played a significant role in this preservation effort. Monks translated texts from Greek, Arabic, and Hebrew into Latin, making a wide array of knowledge accessible to the Western world. This translation work was crucial in preserving scientific, philosophical, and medical texts that might have otherwise been lost. The intellectual activity within monasteries was not limited to copying and translating. Monks engaged in debates, wrote commentaries, and annotated texts, contributing their own insights and interpretations. These scholarly activities enriched the texts and provided a deeper understanding of the classical works. In addition to classical texts, monks also preserved local histories and documented contemporary events. They wrote chronicles that recorded the happenings of their times, providing valuable historical records that offer insights into the medieval world. These chronicles are some of the few sources we have for understanding the social, political, and cultural contexts of the Dark Ages. The monastic life was one of contemplation and prayer, which complemented their scholarly pursuits. The quiet and disciplined environment of the monastery provided the perfect setting for intellectual work. The monks' spiritual dedication was intertwined with their commitment to preserving and expanding knowledge. The creation of illuminated manuscripts was a particularly remarkable aspect of monastic scholarship. These manuscripts were not only texts, but also visual masterpieces. Monks used gold leaf, vibrant colors, and intricate designs to create pages that were as beautiful as they were informative. These illuminated manuscripts are considered some of the finest examples of medieval art. Monks also made significant contributions to the sciences, particularly in the field of astronomy. They studied celestial bodies, created detailed maps of the stars, and made observations that would later influence the development of modern astronomy. Their work laid the groundwork for future scientific discoveries. In the realm of medicine, monks experimented with herbs and other natural remedies, documenting their findings in medical texts. These texts included treatments for various ailments and were used to care for the sick within the monastic community and beyond. The medical knowledge preserved by monks was a vital resource during a time when medical science was still in its infancy. Mathematics was another area where monastic scholars excelled. They studied and taught mathematical concepts, solving complex equations and contributing to the body of mathematical knowledge. Their work in this field helped to preserve and advance mathematical understanding during the medieval period. Music was an integral part of monastic life, and monks made significant contributions to the preservation and creation of musical knowledge. They wrote and composed hymns, developed musical notation, and preserved the musical traditions of the Church. This musical heritage has had a lasting impact on Western music. The monastic commitment to self-sufficiency extended to agriculture. Monks cultivated gardens, grew crops, and experimented with agricultural techniques. Their work in this area not only supported the monastic community, but also contributed to the broader knowledge of agriculture and horticulture. Monks were also involved in architecture and construction. They designed and built structures that were both functional and aesthetically pleasing. The architectural knowledge preserved and developed by monks can be seen in the enduring beauty of medieval cathedrals and monasteries. The preservation of art was another important aspect of monastic life. Monks created and preserved sculptures, paintings, and other forms of art. Their artistic endeavors ensured that the cultural heritage of the past was not lost and continued to inspire future generations. The monastic commitment to community service extended beyond the walls of the monastery. Monks helped the poor, provided education, and served as a source of stability and support in their communities. Their efforts in these areas were a testament to their dedication to both spiritual and worldly matters. Legal knowledge was also preserved and developed within monasteries. Monks studied and taught legal principles, ensuring that the legal traditions of the past were not forgotten. Their work in this area contributed to the development of legal systems in medieval Europe. The intellectual and spiritual pursuits of monks were deeply intertwined. Their contemplative lifestyle provided the time and space needed for deep thought and reflection. This environment fostered a culture of learning and scholarship that was essential for the preservation of knowledge during the Dark Ages. Monks also played a role in preserving cultural traditions and documenting folklore. They wrote about local customs, festivals, and traditions, ensuring that the cultural heritage of their communities was not lost. This work provided a valuable record of the diverse cultural practices of medieval Europe. The spiritual practices of monks were central to their way of life. Prayer, chanting, and meditation were daily activities that provided a foundation for their scholarly and intellectual pursuits. This spiritual discipline was integral to their ability to preserve and expand knowledge. The preservation of philosophical texts was another important aspect of monastic scholarship. Monks debated and taught philosophical concepts, ensuring that the wisdom of ancient philosophers was not lost. Their work in this area contributed to the intellectual heritage of the Western world. The scriptorium was the heart of monastic scholarship. Here, monks copied texts, studied manuscripts, and engaged in intellectual pursuits. The work done in these scriptoriums was essential for the preservation of knowledge during the Dark Ages. Scientific knowledge was also preserved and developed within monasteries. Monks conducted experiments, studied scientific texts, and taught scientific principles. Their work in this area laid the groundwork for future scientific advancements. The monastic commitment to service extended to caring for the sick and providing shelter for those in need. Monks established hospitals and infirmaries, offering medical care and support to their communities. Their efforts in these areas were a testament to their dedication to both spiritual and worldly matters. Theological scholarship was a central focus of monastic life. Monks preserved and studied theological texts, debated theological concepts, and taught these principles to others. Their work in this area was essential for the development and preservation of Christian theology. The contemplative lifestyle of monks provided the time and space needed for deep thought and reflection. This environment fostered a culture of learning and scholarship that was essential for the preservation of knowledge during the Dark Ages. Monks also played a role in preserving cultural traditions and documenting folklore. They wrote about local customs, festivals, and traditions, ensuring that the cultural heritage of their communities was not lost. This work provided a valuable record of the diverse cultural practices of medieval Europe. The spiritual practices of monks were central to their way of life. Prayer, chanting, and meditation were daily activities that provided a foundation for their scholarly and intellectual pursuits. This spiritual discipline was integral to their ability to preserve and expand knowledge. The preservation of philosophical texts was another important aspect of monastic scholarship. Monks debated and taught philosophical concepts, ensuring that the wisdom of ancient philosophers was not lost. Their work in this area contributed to the intellectual heritage of the Western world. The scriptorium was the heart of monastic scholarship. Here, monks copied texts, studied manuscripts, and engaged in intellectual pursuits. The work done in these scriptoriums was essential for the preservation of knowledge during the Dark Ages. Scientific knowledge was also preserved and developed within monasteries. Monks conducted experiments, studied scientific texts, and taught scientific principles. Their work in this area laid the groundwork for future scientific advancements. The monastic commitment to service extended to caring for the sick and providing shelter for those in need. Monks established hospitals and infirmaries, offering medical care and support to their communities. Their efforts in these areas were a testament to their dedication to both spiritual and worldly matters. Theological scholarship was a central focus of monastic life. Monks preserved and studied theological texts, debated theological concepts, and taught these principles to others. Their work in this area was essential for the development and preservation of Christian theology. The contemplative lifestyle of monks provided the time and space needed for deep thought and reflection. This environment fostered a culture of learning and scholarship that was essential for the preservation of knowledge during the Dark Ages. Monks also played a role in preserving cultural traditions and documenting folklore. They wrote about local customs, festivals, and traditions, ensuring that the cultural heritage of their communities was not lost. This work provided a valuable record of the diverse cultural practices of medieval Europe. The spiritual practices of monks were central to their way of life. Prayer, chanting, and meditation were daily activities that provided a foundation for their scholarly and intellectual pursuits. This spiritual discipline was integral to their ability to preserve and expand knowledge. The preservation of philosophical texts was another important aspect of monastic scholarship. Monks debated and taught philosophical concepts, ensuring that the wisdom of ancient philosophers was not lost. Their work in this area contributed to the intellectual heritage of the Western world. The scriptorium was the heart of monastic scholarship. Here, monks copied texts, studied manuscripts, and engaged in intellectual pursuits. The work done in these scriptoriums was essential for the preservation of knowledge during the Dark Ages. Scientific knowledge was also preserved and developed within monasteries. Monks conducted experiments, studied scientific texts, and taught scientific principles. Their work in this area laid the groundwork for future scientific advancements. The monastic commitment to service extended to caring for the sick and providing shelter for those in need. Monks established hospitals and infirmaries, offering medical care and support to their communities. Their efforts in these areas were a testament to their dedication to both spiritual and worldly matters. Theological scholarship was a central focus of monastic life. Monks preserved and studied theological texts, debated theological concepts, and taught these principles to others. Their work in this area was essential for the development and preservation of Christian theology. The contemplative lifestyle of monks provided the time and space needed for deep thought and reflection. This environment fostered a culture of learning and scholarship that was essential for the preservation of knowledge during the Dark Ages. Monks also played a role in preserving cultural traditions and documenting folklore. They wrote about local customs, festivals, and traditions, ensuring that the cultural heritage of their communities was not lost. This work provided a valuable record of the diverse cultural practices of medieval Europe. The spiritual practices of monks were central to their way of life. Prayer, chanting, and meditation were daily activities that provided a foundation for their scholarly and intellectual pursuits. This spiritual discipline was integral to their ability to preserve and expand knowledge. The preservation of philosophical texts was another important aspect of monastic scholarship. Monks debated and taught philosophical concepts, ensuring that the wisdom of ancient philosophers was not lost. Their work in this area contributed to the intellectual heritage of the Western world. The scriptorium was the heart of monastic scholarship. Here, Monks copied texts, studied manuscripts, and engaged in intellectual pursuits. The work done in these scriptoriums was essential for the preservation of knowledge during the Dark Ages. Scientific knowledge was also preserved and developed within monasteries. Monks conducted experiments, studied scientific texts, and taught scientific principles. Their work in this area laid the groundwork for future scientific advancements. The monastic commitment to service extended to caring for the sick and providing shelter for those in need. Monks established hospitals and infirmaries, offering medical care and support to their communities. Their efforts in these areas were a testament to their dedication to both spiritual and worldly matters. Theological scholarship was a central focus of monastic life. Monks preserved and studied theological texts, debated theological concepts, and taught these principles to others. From its diverse early history, Catholicism has woven a rich tapestry of faith, culture, and tradition. The early Christian communities, often persecuted, laid the foundations of what would become one of the world's most influential religions. These early believers, through their resilience and devotion, preserved and passed down teachings that continue to resonate today. The mysteries of relics and saints have fascinated believers and scholars alike. Relics, often seen as tangible connections to the divine, have played a significant role in the spiritual lives of many. Saints, revered for their piety and miracles, serve as models of faith and intercessors for the faithful. Pilgrimages to sites housing these relics have been a source of spiritual renewal and community for centuries. Catholicism's influence on culture and knowledge is profound. The Church has been a patron of the arts, commissioning works that inspire and educate. The Vatican Library, one of the oldest in the world, houses countless manuscripts that offer insights into the theological, philosophical, and scientific advancements of the past. Catholic scholars have contributed significantly to various fields of study, preserving and expanding human knowledge. Beyond religious rituals, Catholicism holds hidden truths that shape the lives of millions. The Mass, a central act of worship, is a profound expression of faith and community. The sacrament of confession offers a path to spiritual healing and renewal. Traditional processions, often vibrant and deeply symbolic, connect the faithful to their heritage and to each other. By examining these aspects, we gain a deeper appreciation of the Church's role in history. Historical religious texts provide a window into the beliefs and practices of past generations. Close-up views of historical documents reveal the meticulous care with which these treasures have been preserved. Discussions among church historians highlight the ongoing efforts to understand and interpret the Church's rich legacy. The architectural marvels of Catholicism, such as St. Peter's Basilica, stand as testaments to the faith and ingenuity of those who built them. These landmarks, scattered across the globe, attract millions of visitors each year, offering a glimpse into the grandeur and spiritual significance of the Church. The aerial view of Vatican City, the heart of Catholicism, underscores its global influence and enduring presence. As we conclude this exploration, we invite you to continue your journey with us. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with others who might be interested in uncovering the hidden truths of Catholicism. Your support helps us bring more content that delves into the fascinating intersections of history, religion, and culture. Stay tuned for more explorations of history, religion, and culture. We have many more stories to tell, from the ancient to the modern, each offering unique insights into the human experience. Thank you for watching, and we look forward to sharing more with you soon.